morning and thanks for joining us on After GMS. It is Thursday, June 24th. I'm trying to turn my cell phone down. So what happens when I get home is my daughter usually likes to watch a show on YouTube or whatever, and then her sticky little fingers get on the phone, and then I have a hard time adjusting the volume the next day. We've got it all together. Yeah.
So you're adjusting your volume. I'm finishing my morning snack when I got caught again.
Oh no. Well,
we'll get it together, y'all.
Yes.
We are appreciative that you're joining us here on After GMS. It is Thursday, June 24th. I'm Megan Malaris with Tracy McCain, Stacey Spivey, and Christian Morgan.
All right, before we jump into our conversations today, let's talk about the forecast. Christian, are you available to deliver us some more great news?
I am available to deliver great news. Sorry, as I'm choking on my morning snack. A beautiful morning of weather. And you know what? We don't talk about low humidity a lot in June. We have been the last couple days, and today, unfortunately, will be the last one of those that we have for a while. Live look over the triad right now. Beautiful morning. Now, you see our dew points are in the 50s here at home. Very comfortable weather, but the humidity is lurking pretty close by to our south, and it will start to work its way back in tomorrow. Now, this morning we started out with temperatures in the mid and upper 50s, and the reason for that not only was that we had some clear skies overnight, but also that lower humidity makes things a whole lot easier to cool off. For today, though, we do have some clouds in the sky right now. They'll burn off as we go throughout the afternoon. Mostly sunny after lunchtime. We'll warm things up back into the upper 70s to near 80 again this afternoon. Tonight, clear skies, low humidity. Expect us to drop back into the upper 50s again heading into your Friday. High pressure is in control of our weather now. It's just to our north, so that brings in that northeasterly flow or our winds out of the northeast. Typically a cooler, drier wind direction from Canada, and that's the case this time too. Now, as that high shifts offshore, our winds will start to change direction again, which means all of that heat and all of that humidity in the south will start to build back in. And that not only will bring us the heat and humidity, but also brings us a chance for some scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms heading into the weekend. Quick check on the tropics. It doesn't look like a lot happening right now on the wide picture, but if we zoom in, there's two areas the National Hurricane Center is watching. This one doesn't have a great chance of doing really anything at all over the next week. It's just about 10 miles to the east of Barbados, and as it moves toward the Lesser Antilles, it could produce just some showers and also some gusty winds. Not anything to be concerned over there. The second area that the National Hurricane Center is watching is a tropical wave that hasn't even moved off the coast of Africa yet, but is expected to later today, and it could become the next tropical storm over the next week. Again, it's still a good ways away, so nothing for us to be concerned about in the U.S. or especially in North Carolina. Of course, if that changes, we'll let you know, but we still got a couple weeks to track that thing, no matter what it does. Heading into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, really not bad. They're back in the mid-80s, and it will be humid. And neither day is going to be a washout, though. We'll just have that chance of an isolated shower or pop-up thunderstorm each afternoon. That continues heading into a brand new week. The heat builds little by little, day by day.
Okay, it's time for our first talker this morning. Concerts are coming back to the Triad as we're all anxious to see live music in person again. And a new survey says that more than half of us have been looking forward to going to a concert or festival as restrictions eased. So we want to know, what was your first concert and what do you remember about it? Go ahead and share with us in the comment section below. So a study conducted by OnePoll looked into the major music moments in people's lives. 3 in 5 people polled say they remember every second of their first live concert they ever attended, and 56% still remember how happy they felt. Some of the iconic music moments Americans wish they could have seen live, with Whitney Houston singing the Star-Spangled Banner at Super Bowl 25, Elton John's performance of Candle in the Wind at Princess Di's funeral, and the Beatles' rooftop concert. Now, 3 in 5 people also say they've had the same favorite music artist for the past decade. So back to our question this morning, what was your first concert and what do you remember about it? Some of you have texted your responses to us. Denise says her first concert was at the Greensboro Coliseum in 1965. She was 14 years old. It was the Rolling Stones. Her ticket was $2.50.
Wow.
She says she still has that ticket stub. That's so cool.
That's amazing.
Angela's first concert was a Jackson 5. She says her mother took her and her cousins. She had a curly afro, gold bell-bottom pants, and a blue fringe vest. She remembers her exact outfit. Andrea's was also Jackson 5. She was 16 years old. Deborah's was the judge. She remembers a lot of tears as it was their I can't talk this morning, I'm sorry. Farewell tour. And then, let's see, Antoinette, Her first concert was Teddy Pendergrass. She went with her best friend, and she says she will always have that memory with her. Love seeing all the memories that you guys have, so keep weighing in on our Facebook stream. I had to ask my mom what my first concert was because I honestly couldn't remember. I remember going to several. I, of course, went to Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears, all of those 90s bands, but I had to ask her what was my first one. She said it was 98 Degrees and LFO. Now, you wouldn't remember who LFO or probably even know who they are unless you were a girl growing up in the 90s. They were, the hit cute boy band then, and 98 Degrees was also a boy band. They were the ones with the Lachey brothers, like Nick Lachey. And 98 Degrees, they had that one hit song. They were like one-hit wonders. It was Summertime Girls, I think, the one that talks about they like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. Do y'all remember that song?
I remember that.
Yeah.
I do Cherish You as one of their big songs too.
Of 98 Degrees?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did we talk about that yesterday?
We did.
We did talk about 98 Degrees
That's like
yesterday,
Groundhog
and how
Day.
fitting it was my first concert.
That's right.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
I remember LFO though, a little bit. They were kind of one-hit wonders too.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the Summertime Girls song. That I think that was their only hit, but I was so excited to see them in concert. I thought they were so cute.
So I guess in the 80s, or excuse me, the 90s, it was LFO.
Okay.
And 98 Degrees, but in the 80s, it was New Edition. They had a hold of my heart. All of them. Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and mine. They were great guys. So anyway, I went to see them. That was my first concert. And my mom has told me that I stayed dancing the entire time, even the slow songs. She said I would hold my arms and sway back and forth like this. She said I'd never sat down. So I don't remember that concert, but I do remember going to see Elton John in like 2003 or 4 in Boston. Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
He had that place shut down. It was like an amazing experience, probably one of the best concerts I have ever attended.
Wow, that's a memory for sure. Nostalgic as he does his farewell tour this year. Wow, things all come full circle. It's also interesting, my first concert was Britney Spears. She's been in the headlines this week as she fights her legal battle for end of her conservatorship in a battle with her dad about that. But she was my first concert. I remember going with my cousin, my mom, and my aunt, and we were young at the time, and Britney Spears was a couple hours late coming to the stage. So everybody was looking at their watches, wondering, is she gonna come out? And I remember my mom and aunt talking like, we're gonna have to get the girls home to bed soon if this doesn't start. Finally, she came out. It was amazing. I remember her singing and dancing and being in awe of all of her talents. And I remember a little bit of what I was wearing. I think I had these cheetah barrettes in my hair. That's the only thing I recall. And I think the next concert I went to was NSYNC a few years later. So yes, a gal of the 90s as well. Christian, you are very musically inclined. You like all kinds of genres. What was your first concert?
My first concert ever was at the Greensboro Coliseum. It was Martina McBride and Alan Jackson together. But I really think I should have been born decades ago. I have an old soul when it comes to music, and when Stacey was going through some of those concerts on the people's bucket list they wish they could have been a part of, that Beatles concert on the rooftop, what I wouldn't give to have been there. And funny enough, their song Get Back, they actually played it I think 3 or 4 times that night, but it's been said it was the last song they played on that rooftop concert, which then would have led it to be the last song that they ever played together before the band broke up.
That is wild. So wild.
Tracy, I have to echo what Tracy said. Elton John.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
And it's so crazy how he commands, the audience.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a man at the piano, right?
And he just he just plays for hours. It doesn't stop. And I mean,
Does not stop.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
I can't wait to go see him next April. I have tickets.
Oh wow.
It'll be my first time to see him in concert. My husband and I bought these for each other for Christmas whenever he was supposed to come. It was like 2 years ago, I think we bought those tickets. So we'll finally get to see him in April, and I hear he is incredible. And of course, that big announcement yesterday that he's going to be coming to Charlotte as well.
Yeah.
You'll
One
never
last
forget
thing
it.
about Elton John. Don't expect there to be an opening act. He takes the whole 4 hours, or at least he did.
That's okay.
And he played every song, even ones that you probably don't know about, and then all of a sudden you were like, oh my gosh, I love this song. Why haven't I heard it before? Like everything in his you know, Rolodex of songs. Yeah, it's
Wow.
amazing. So anyway, my favorite.
Yeah, well, if you can't see him in Greensboro, he is coming to Charlotte, as we've been announcing too, a little later in 2022. So some opportunities to see the legend in person.
Do we want to go over responses here, Stace? Because a lot of people are
yeah.
weighing in.
There's so many. I hope I can get to some of them. John said that he saw Elvis in Michigan in 1977. He was 10 years old.
Wow.
His mom took took me with her friends. A lot of people on my Facebook page have mentioned they'd seen Elvis. That's one artist I wish I could have seen in person. I bet it was like nothing else that anyone's ever seen. Michael saw AC/DC, White Lion, Greensboro. Let me scroll up. Suzanne saw Peter, Paul, and Mary in Greensboro. She was probably still in elementary school, so 1960 something. Barbara's first concert was Alabama and Reba McEntire.
Oh, that's a good one.
She opened up for them. And it was awesome, though. I'm not much of a concert person, is what she said. Jason's was Leanne Rimes with Brian White in 1997. He said he was 10 years old. Matt's was Pink Floyd. Heather's first concert was Boys Like Girls in 2009, she thinks. And one of their openers was Lights. Sharon says Cheap Trick with my neighbor and her dad. The only song I remember is I Want You to Want Me. Pretty awesome.
Good song.
Yes, it is.
All right, we have another conversation coming up momentarily, but first we do have to get to some morning headlines. And a big story here developing in Greensboro, a massive power outage and thousands of people in the dark after a crash in Greensboro. Police say a driver crashed into a utility pole near Florida and O'Connor Streets around 4 a.m. and power is now out in the Gate City Boulevard area for about 4,000 homes and businesses. Officers say there were minor injuries in the wreck and they've closed the lanes to investigate. Duke Energy expects to have power back on by 6 p.m. They've pushed it back since this morning. Emergency crews will be back out today on the Dan River searching from Draper Landing to the Virginia border for Teresa Viano, the woman still missing after that tubing accident last Wednesday. We asked Emergency Services Director Rodney Cates what comes next. He said the search effort will scale down with some resources exhausted, but they are not giving up. In the coming days, they will follow up on any leads. And as for Duke Energy, they say setting up a fence or gate across the dam, as many people have suggested, is not feasible for now.
Well, today, President Joe Biden heads to North Carolina. The president should arrive around 3:30 this afternoon. His visit includes a stop at the Green Road Park Community Center around 4:50. The president will tour a mobile vaccination unit and then meet with frontline healthcare workers and volunteers. Then at 5:15, he'll deliver remarks pushing the vaccination effort and sharing his message on the effectiveness of the COVID vaccines. The president will head back to the White House around 6:30 this evening. You can stay with WFMY News 2 for coverage of the president's trip and the GOP response on WFMYnews2.com. We all want to know who won the first $1 million vaccine lottery prize. The first of 4 drawings took place yesterday. Our IT News Miller has more on the process and your next 3 chances to win.
Well, the winner has likely received an email or phone call from the North Carolina Education Lottery, but it'll still be days before we, the public, actually find out who the winner is because there is a lengthy verification process. This is how the process works. The North Carolina Education Lottery uses this machine, a random number generator. Each person vaccinated in the state has a number attached to their name. Our state's health department matches that number with the name in its database. It's a lengthy process because they have to verify the winner is actually qualified. There is 1 adult winner and 1 scholarship winner. 20 alternative winners are chosen because if the winner isn't reachable within 48 hours of the drawing, a new winner is chosen. The money comes in 1 lump sum and is taxed. And publicly releasing your name is a part of the deal. The purpose of this is to let the community know that folks are getting vaccinated and that it is safe. So if the winner refuses to get their name released, they will move on to one of the other 20 names drawn. And this is just one of 4 drawings. The next drawing will be on July 7th.
Okay, it's time to get to our next talker. Sorry, I'm just responding to someone on our Facebook feed. Okay, words are hard, especially when it comes to spelling some of them right, and we wanted to know what word trips you up every time. You can go ahead and tell us in the comments below, maybe the one word that you misspell a lot or one that you always have to look up how to spell. So AT&T experts looked into the most searched misspelled words throughout the nation, and this is based on the top searched how to spell words by state using Google Trends in the last year. The top word, quarantine, with 12 states searching how to spell it. Now, the most common misspelling for the word quarantine was actually corn-teen, like two separate words, like corn, the vegetable, and then teen, like teenager. So the second one that was the most misspelled was favorite, but as far as North Carolina, it's the word exercise. So what word trips you up every time? Or maybe that you just always have to Google how to spell? Debbie says, I can never seem to spell convenience correctly. I'm so off, even my phone's autocorrect takes a minute to give me the true spelling. I had to think about this one for a little bit. I will say I was the 5th grade spelling bee winner at my school. You know, not that that was like such a huge deal or anything. Clearly, I'm still proud of myself for it. But the word that I always get tripped up on is nauseous. And I just noticed, like, especially being pregnant, obviously I'm like, oh yeah, I've been feeling nauseous lately. When I'm texting it, I have to use autocorrect because I can never remember how to spell it. And today, with the whole Britney Spears conservatorship, I kept catching myself, okay, wait, how do you spell that? So there's just different words throughout the day, but nauseous is one that I have to think about for a little bit.
Now, for me, it's not necessarily spelling the words, but the pronunciation of words that trips me up a little bit. There are certain words like rural that I think should just be thrown out because I was like, rural.
Just delete them.
Just delete it. You know, growing up in the South, I had a little Southern thing when I went to Connecticut and to Massachusetts to begin my career. And so I would always say the roof of the building instead of the roof. I'd always say the window instead of the window. Those things I've kind of grown out of at this point, but rural still gets
hard.
me. But I can spell it. I can spell these words. Saying them is different.
Well, people say them differently depending on which region of the country you are from. I say words very differently from my husband, who is from Asheboro. So I can't think of one specific word I have trouble with. Spelling and grammar have always been strong suits for me. I don't pretend to be good at everything, but those I've always been pretty proficient at English. I have seen the word definitely always misspelled. For some reason, a lot of people spell definitely like defiantly, when really you have to just break up the word definite and then add the ly. And it's easier when you think about it like that. That is just the one word I constantly see misspelled, Christian. Do you have trouble with any words, or do you see any that are commonly misspelled?
Well, first off, it must be that your husband and I say things the same.
You do.
We're both from Asheboro.
You do.
I lost my 5th grade spelling bee because I misspelled the word coyote.
Oh no!
I missed the O, the C-O, and I was so confident. I was like, C-Y-O, and nope, I lost it. And it's not so much, I don't think spelling, I was kind of joking this morning that humidity gets me, but really not spelling it, but when I sit down and type it, I can type it out and then go back because I've spelled it humidity. But Wednesday, the word Wednesday, when I type it out, I don't even pronounce it Wednesday anymore. I type it like Wednesday. You know, I say that to myself as I'm typing it out. So like you said, it's not so much spelling them, it's thinking about the way that I pronounce them while I'm typing them or spelling them. That's what helps.
Interesting. All right, so what are people saying online? I love that first one, convenience, because I think a lot of people have trouble with the I and the E, especially after C, you know, the whole rule on how that pertains to grammar. I think that's one. I think a lot of people have trouble with that, with there, and there.
Yeah,
I was 3 different types.
I was about to mention that. Carol said that there, and there. She always gets the E and the I mixed up in there with the I and E, obviously in that one. But I thought it was funny, Christian, that you mentioned Wednesday, because every time I type it out Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That's what Carol just did, yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing that I've always done. Let's see. Sorry, a lot of people still talking about the concerts. Bobby says it's narcissism for him. I could see that. I know. Oh, Jason said especially. And I know there was another one. I'm trying to find it. But Nadine says, do you ever type a word, then look at it and it doesn't look right? Happens to me all the time. Yeah, I totally do that too. And Jason made me laugh. He said, and this grammar lesson is brought to you by Megan Millers.
I laughed out loud when I saw that.
Well, earlier I said that she was sworn in by the Grammar Police Department.
Oh my God.
To protect.
Should be a new segment here.
I'm not a know-it-all. I just love spelling and grammar.
No one's
okay.
calling you that. I think that we're just highlighting something that you're really great at.
Thank
no
you.
shame in
Yeah.
that.
I
No shame in
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Everybody makes mistakes every once in a while, so yes. Always
know-
check me too if I misspell something.
You know what word that I have trouble spelling, which I really should not have trouble spelling? Meteorologist.
Yeah, you should definitely not.
You should not have trouble
have
spelling
trouble.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't misspell that one on your resume, but
I gotta make sure I get all the E's and the O's in the right place.
Another one is, Carol brought up Wednesday, and I was thinking I've oftentimes seen February misspelled. People leave out the R, the extra R.
Yeah, and mispronounced.
I say February. I think you say February.
I say February.
So again, it might be a regional thing too.
And who knows what region I belong to now?
Everywhere.
No idea.
Everywhere.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
No idea.
And people always spell my name wrong too. Megan, I know that you probably, and Tracy, you too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
people always forget the E, and I'm like, guys, come on. My name is Stacy Spivey. It is parallel. They both have an E, E-Y. My mom did it on purpose, so
Right.
come on now.
Well, see, the thing about it is you look at your name all the time, right? So you were like, yeah, how could they get this wrong? But other people don't look at and stare at your name and analyze how many letters it has and where, you know what I mean? So it might sound like really easy to you, but like for somebody else, it's probably like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. So I used to get upset about it, but now I'm like,
There's
still does,
people,
yeah.
and there's variations. There's a couple variations of how people spell Christian. People
That's
still
true.
spell my name wrong from time to time. They spell it Christine, and I'm like, no, it's Christian, I-A-N.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son is Christian too, and I spelled it the same way you did. That the classic spelling, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are variations, and some people don't have the H either. So I've seen it spelled C-R-I-S-T-I-A-N.
I've had people try to spell my name with a K before at the front.
Yeah, but Megan is the only one I know who has your spelling.
An H and two N's.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so my mom got it from the book The Thornbirds, which later was made
movie?
into a movie. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's cool.
Yeah, so she went by Meggie in the book and the movie, but that's where it comes from. And yes, I could never find my name on one of those little cheapy souvenirs.
yeah.
It was always M-E-G-A-N or M-E-G-H-A-N, and it was always misspelled in the class. So I just roll with it. But sometimes I would have to write on like formal tests, this is correct. It's not a misspelling.
Oh, wow.
Because yes, I would get formal documents sent back to me with the wrong spelling of my name when I had spelled it correctly the first time. So yeah, it's interesting. But
I've typed
I
an
don't mind
email to you before and left out one N, like the second N on the end of your name, and I'm like, oh no, I got it. I was so close.
it doesn't bother me, except for if it's an official thing and I need it to be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's that. I bet you're under a lot of stress all the time, Christian, not because of your spelling, but because of your forecasting. Deliver us something that is awesome and sweet for today.
Listen, this is a stress-free forecast today. I'm not at all stressed today. Ask me again over the weekend. But there's no humidity today. That's what makes it so nice and so stress-free, and sunshine throughout the afternoon. 80 for the afternoon high. The heat, the humidity start to come back though, and that really starts tomorrow afternoon. You'll start to notice that humidity creeping back in, and it's really not far away. It's down to our south in South Carolina and Georgia, so it really doesn't have far ways to go before it gets here. We'll also add in the chance for an isolated shower or pop-up storm tomorrow afternoon, and that chance increases a little bit as we go throughout the weekend. Neither Saturday or Sunday, even though you see those rain chances, none of those days are going to be washouts. It's just very typical summertime weather. Pop-up showers and storms, they'll be hit or miss, and that continues heading into next week. And little by little, day by day, we warm things back up to the mid and upper 80s. We'll close in on 90 by the middle of next week.
All right, so that upward climb, it's coming back, but right now we can just sit back, enjoy the nice breeze, the cooler, crisper air.
That's right.
Because we know it's not going to stay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Take advantage of it.
All good things come to an end, so we enjoy them while they last.
That's true.
Thanks for joining us while it lasted here on After GMS. We'll have more great conversations and your headlines tomorrow on After GMS on Facebook Live.
Take care.
See you.